Okay, wow, I have not done a Glitterature in a really long time, and I think it is like pretty much one of my most requested type of videos to do. Right now, it is like 3 o'clock in the morning. Alex is working late at his studio. He's recording a song, and my makeup was already done because I shot a beauty video earlier. I thought this was like perfect for like old school Elle, let's film in the middle of the night. I don't really film in the middle of the night anymore. I used to in college because I kind of had to. I didn't really have time during the day. Today, I'm doing a Glitterature on the Heir by, can you see that? This is the sequel to the Selection, and okay, so I've done a Glitterature on the Selection. I'm pretty sure that I remember saying, I definitely remember thinking that that book was like written for a younger audience than me, but I still enjoyed it. It was like a weird guilty pleasure. I enjoyed reading it even though it was written for like my cousin who is 15. I kind of liked it, and so I wanted to get the Heir. You know what? I'm not even gonna justify my reading selections, no pun intended, because I feel like a lot of people make fun of me for what I read, but you know what? I read for fun, and I'm gonna read whatever I want. And so I read the Heir. The first thing I have to say about it is the character's name I thought was Adeline for the entirety of me reading the book, and it wasn't until I was getting ready to film this Glitterature that I went online. We're gonna call her Edelyn because that's what the author says her name is pronounced as. So Princess Edelyn is America and Maxim's daughter. In this sequel series, it's about her selection process. So it's the very first female-run selection process where there's a princess instead of a prince. And if you guys watch The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, this book reminds me of that series so much, even though it's like totally different. Even though there was a prince once on The Bachelor, Prince Lorenzo, who was like one of my least favorite bachelors. I feel bad saying that, but he was. She is not a very likable character. That's the first thing that I really want to talk about. I did not bond with her at all, even at the end when you're supposed to start like understanding her more. I didn't like her as a character. I think she's snobby. I think she's self-centered and selfish, and even though she thinks that she has a really good idea about how her country works because she like works with her dad, the king, she really doesn't. She's very naive and she doesn't really know what's going on. And the reason that that bothers me is because in the first book, we're shown that her mother is such a strong character. America is very aware and very smart, and she is revolutionary in her ideas and in her thinking. And Maxim is also like very, okay with like having his ideas changed by America. And I think that's what makes the first book work, is that the characters are very likable and they're characters you can look up to. Whereas Edelyn is like, I didn't like anything about her, and that sounds so mean, but I had a really hard time connecting to her in this book, and it made me not enjoy the book as much, even though I think the idea of like the daughter having her own selection process, that idea excited me so much, and I really thought I was gonna like the series even more than the first Selection trilogy. I kept thinking that Edelyn was going to have character development and change a lot, and although she did a little bit, I didn't feel like it was real. I didn't think it was authentic. She said things constantly to herself, like in her own mind, like there's no one in the world more powerful than me. And she was patronizing to all of the men. She was patronizing to her maid. It was very obvious who she was going to have more of a connection with. The few guys that end up being bigger characters. I think the author made it quite obvious who those people were early in the book. But there wasn't anyone that I truly bonded with, and I think that that was the way you're reading everything from Edelyn's point of view, and she's not a very nice person. Like, she doesn't really have nice things to think about anyone. There are a few guys that kind of have a soft spot. She has a soft spot for, but she only has a soft spot for them because she feels like they aren't a threat. She doesn't feel like she's gonna actually like them. Like, she really connects with the guy that doesn't speak her language, who has to go through a translator. And even though that character is written in a really nice way, and I actually kind of felt myself rooting for him, he was definitely like the underdog because he didn't really know what was going on, but he's always described to be like very smiley and happy, and he just seemed like a character that I really liked. I felt like she still was like patronizing in her own thoughts about him sometimes. I don't know. It was kind of hard for me to read. At the same time, I enjoyed it and I'm looking forward to the next one. I think I just really like the story idea of like what it is. It's like royalty, but then there's this bachelorette element, which I love that show and I'm watching it right now. And I'm Team Sean, by the way. I'm not Team Nick. I think Sean is like perfect for her if you guys watch The Bachelorette. I would recommend the book because I enjoy the series. I definitely enjoyed the Selection trilogy, and I love the idea of it being her daughter or their daughter and her whole selection process, but I just don't see how the author is gonna then in the second book make Evelyn a likable character, because she's been set up as, in my opinion, quite a dislikable character. That being said, I know that this review's been a little bit harsh, but if you did read the Selection trilogy and you enjoyed it, I would give this book a chance. I think that there's a possibility for redemption in the second book. I'm definitely going to read the second book. I actually read this book really fast, so as much as I'm sitting here complaining about her character development and how I didn't think that it was very existent, I read the book in like 2 sittings. So I clearly liked it. I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed reading it. I just don't really have much to say about the plot being like the greatest plot I've ever read. That's like so contradictory, and I'm not even really sure how to explain what I'm saying, but I think if you guys have read the book, you will know what I mean. I need some new books. I think the reason that the Glitteratures have been lacking, in addition to me doing June Bloom and it just like me really concentrating on my other channel, is that I have not actually been reading as much as I used to. I did read quite a few books when I was on bed rest, but to be perfectly honest, I don't remember a lot of them because I was on a lot of medication. Yep, so that was my review on The Heir by Kiera Cass, and I will see you guys with my next video.